In this episode, we explore the mysterious disappearance of Jack and Lily.
Now, here's the thing.
Were Daniel and Malaya directly involved in these kids missing?
The cases in the update or the updates. I'm sorry, I said it backwards. And the cases that the updates have been the documents with the witness statements. All right, which we saw. Their family and community reporting in and talking about the family and the dynamics of them, and then polygraph tests that were administered. They were administered during the investigations, and the results were described in court filings. And Daniel told us that they passed. All right, so I mean, it boggles me. It boggles my mind to hear that they took these tests and passed them. Were they on something? The kids just vanished into the sky. Daniel, like, you're nuts. We know you did something to these kids, right? Kathleen, they are very cute. And Jump Flips got gifted from more. Thank you. All right, what have we missed? Anything new? Well, in the very beginning, the new information was little Jack turned 5 years old. His birthday was yesterday. There was a new vigil and a lot of community outpour. Also, I don't know if you heard about the vehicles in the neighborhood a couple weeks ago. There were statements and neighbors talking about vehicles coming and going on the night they went missing, or on the morning the night before they went missing. That's odd. Very specific locations and times.
Safe and sound. I have all the faith and hope I will see them again. 6-year-old Lilly Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack have been missing since May of this year. According to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the two were last seen on May 2nd in Nova Scotia. Jack and Lily's mom told police that on that morning, she and her husband were in bed with their baby Meadow, but they could hear Lily and Jack playing in the kitchen. Lily even reportedly peeped her head in multiple times to look in their bedroom. But then suddenly, the kids were gone. Their stepfather Daniel went to check on them, but no sign of them. Their boots
I think there's aliens in Nova Scotia. What do you guys think?
were gone, and so was Lily's backpack. On that same day, police got a 911 call that the siblings wandered from their home. Police spent the first week of their disappearance scouring the woods near their home, but still no signs of Jack or Lily. According to a May report by Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, or CBC, police called off the search as they fear the worst. RCMP Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon said in a May 7th press conference, "If we thought they were alive right now,
Now, they did say that, but we did not see it come from, you might have seen it on Dolly or one of the channels where they're, doing hours and hours long stream. That just came out 12 days ago, and I hadn't been able to report on it. So maybe that's where you heard it. I also said it on my stream while I was streaming another case. So I wanted to bring that. And other than that, I mean, we're still looking for Jack and Lily.
we'd still be out there." RCMP confirmed an underwater recovery team searched the lakes, but no evidence was uncovered. Jack and Lily's stepdad, Daniel Martel, believed that the siblings slipped out of the sliding door back when Daniel and the children's mom, Malia, were in their bedroom with their 1-year-old daughter. Other theories have swirled since. One neighbor reportedly heard a car going back and forth near the home in the middle of the night before they disappeared. The neighbor said his home was elevated from Jack and Lily's home, so he could see the vehicle lights from over the treetop.
Now, this is a story, but as far as law enforcement talking about the polygraph test, they'd have that documented in the papers that they released. However, there's a lot of pages and a lot of redactions. So if somebody that has gone through those papers, I have them. I just haven't, but I have not gone through line for line, and I didn't see all the stuff that they're claiming it to be. Cindy Clark, Dee was in a car accident. Allegedly, it was a big round 5-speed dish. Oh, Daniel Martel was in a car accident. Was that today? All right. Mary Lou, what's up? Cuffy says, I timestamped 3 of the interviews today to pull out odd statements that had not had attention directed to them, and they were really not listening. Those babies are gone. Heartbreaking. Cuffy, I believe that they have been gone for quite some time. After 72 hours, the chances that somebody going missing, especially 2 vulnerable children, are not likely that they're going to come back.
Court documents viewed by CBC say
Alive.
He said the vehicle left 3 or 4 hours after midnight and into the early hours of the morning. He said the vehicle would drive off in the distance and he could hear it stop and then return. He said it remained in earshot the entire time. Another neighbor reportedly told investigators on May 17th he heard a vehicle near Highway 289 turn around by railroad tracks near an intersection close to Jack and Lily's home. That neighbor spoke with the other neighbor, saying that the car he saw was Daniel's. But police said there was no evidence like surveillance video, so the witness statements couldn't be proven. In the department's most recent update from October 21st, a spokesperson told the Canadian press that police found, quote, no evidence of any vehicle activity at that time. As such, no driver has been identified, and the press.
And see, that's a huge thing in this case. If there really were multiple cars that night at 12:30 and then on later in the morning, the night before the morning of them going missing, that's a huge deal. And Daniel says there was only them three on the property. So was it them leaving and getting rid of the children beforehand? And they don't have cameras everywhere out in that area, right? It's not like being in the city where you're going to get caught like at the dumpster throwing away a backpack and every light seeing a person in the seat that was no longer alive, right? In Florida, every other place is a surveillance camera.
Absence of a vehicle has not been substantiated as a key element in the investigation. Earlier this month, the Northeast Nova RCMP Major Crimes Unit took their search up a notch. This is what they had to say in their October 8th update. In September, Inspector Luke Reddy and his police dog Narc, as well as Sergeant Dave Whalen and his police dog Kit, searched for Lilly and Jack in Lansdowne Station, covering a total of 40 kilometers. The team, specially trained in detecting human remains, searched at the property from which the children went missing, along the pipeline and intersecting trails, and in an area where a pink blanket was previously found, all locations where there was the highest probability of finding the children. However, the teams did not locate any.
And that is weird that they say that. Where are they, right? RCMP says they weren't kidnapped, right? They didn't do an Amber Alert because they didn't have a description of a car or anything that would call for an Amber Alert. Their lives weren't taken. They're not in the woods. Me, stand up work, guys. Yeah, RCMP is a lot different. They handle things a lot different. And I'm not going to downplay what they're doing because I don't know if they're just keeping their cards close to the vest because of the investigation. But yeah, it's a little bit strange the way they report.
Remains. The dogs are highly trained to detect and indicate the scent of human remains. Therefore, if the dogs did not alert their handlers, it suggests dogs were never in the presence of human remains odor. However, this does not definitively rule out the presence of remains in the areas that were searched. It means either the odor is there and couldn't be detected, or the odor isn't there. According to Staff Sergeant Rob McCannon, the acting officer in charge, he said the investigation is still ongoing.
And that's all they've been saying. They said that on when they were at the vigil, they gave a statement too, and it was like, "Hey, here's our update." There's not an update. We're still looking and asking for the public to send anything in. So, I mean, what is it that they have? Are they just being tight-lipped, or do they really have nothing? All right. Cuffy says, I have a real problem with the idea that those kids could have traveled upwards of 6 miles on foot in that terrain. I know my grandchildren would say, hell with that. I'm going home. I agree. Not just them saying that. They would get out there, probably not even a mile, and that thick brush in the area and the terrain that was very rough. I just don't believe that. Don't believe it at all.
In a statement saying, each piece of information includes the results from the search teams, helps inform our next steps. With support from agencies across Canada, the investigative team is working to validate or eliminate leads and follow the evidence wherever it takes us. At this stage, and as we said all along, we're considering all possibilities. We'll keep going until we determine with certainty the circumstances of the children's disappearance and their found. Lilly and Jack's mom, Malia, is still urging for help to find them. She wrote this to the Find Lilly and Jack Sullivan Facebook.
We just saw that, so we're not going to go over it again and again. Let's hear what this guy has to say. Hold on.
Fortunately, after almost a quarter century in law enforcement before I retired,
There you go. Ashton Pack, private investigator. I always like to hear what they have to say, whether they're investigating that particular case or they've looked at it from the outside. Kathy says, I pray for Lilly and Jack to still be alive and in good condition. I do as well. It's just the probability of them being alive after 6 months. It's just, I just can't imagine that this effort wouldn't bring somebody that has them out and say, I'm not going to get in trouble for this, right?
The cynic in me, unfortunately, feels those children. I'm just afraid they're no longer alive. I hope they are. I really hope that the RCMP up in Canada can really bring them home. There is, there's always the possibility that they are still alive and out there. But as time goes on, we just understand from previous cases and the nature of these kind of incidents that the longer the time frame extends from the time that they were reported missing, it's just the odds of them coming home alive just increasingly shrink. So my heart breaks for those kids.
Yeah, and my heart does too, because I mean, they're just 6 and 4 years old. I can't emphasize that enough. And my thought also goes to their stepfather's kind of reaction in a way about what's kind of happened to Jack and Lily, that they wandered out of the home. Their boots were gone, Lily's backpack was gone. But do you buy that with what we know right now?
Yeah, if the boots and the backpack were gone, does that mean somebody threw them away, or did they? What happened? I mean, how kids don't go missing, and neither do boots and backpacks, right? So Cindy says allegedly, if the kids knew who was removing them, no scream. If they didn't know, Lily has that scream. I'm sure she would have screamed. And that's another thing, but we can't get a straight answer from the parents, so we wouldn't know.
Well, I mean, it's a rural part of Canada. May,
Very, very rural.
not exactly a snowy season in Canada. Maybe it was a nice day for the kids to go outside. But as a father myself who raised, 3 children from very young ages on, you just kind of know where your kids are at. So I just think it's a kind of an odd statement to say that they just wandered off and nobody knew about it. It's a possibility. I don't know if it's a probability of what's the actual truth.
And what do you think the probability is?
Well, in the beginning, everybody, they could have wandered off in the beginning, but now after 6 months, are you saying they wandered off and nothing, that they just wandered off and then just vanished after they wandered off? Their bodies would be somewhere, wouldn't they? Wouldn't there be a backpack or a boot or I mean, the cadaver dogs, did they do a terrible job? The search efforts, do you think that they didn't go as far as the children could have gone? That doesn't make sense. So let's listen to what the PI says the probability is. I'm not buying that at all.
That they were abducted.
There's a chance that they were abducted. I mean, you can't rule that out right now. I know RCMP is treating it as a missing persons case. That might just be a strategic move for Canadian law enforcement, where the rules might be a little different, keeping it non-criminal at this point to kind of maybe bypass some rules and procedures that they have in their court system. I'm not really sure on that, and I'm no expert in Canadian law, but at this point, I feel like the longer we get away from the time of missing, the more chances that there's some kind of foul play going on here. Is an abduction a possibility? Some kind of a trafficking incident? Absolutely, it's a possibility.
Now, I mean, that's a bigger possibility, in my opinion, than them just wandering off. All right, them being trafficked. But I don't know. I don't know what the likelihood of 2 children and the way the parents explain them that they were trafficked.